Hello, Earthlings. All right, this is a follow-up to the other video I just shot. I showed you some of the new control over making a adventure, and I want to just try to make one together with you to actually try it out and play it. I don't know what's going to happen. If we hit bugs, we'll hit bugs. Let's do it. So this is the onboarding to the adventure creator. I have to pick what I want to make, I suppose. I just saw Elysium was on Netflix now. What that's about, like a guy trying to make it to a space station. Let's do a sci-fi action thriller that's sort of vaguely Elysium-like. Fast-paced, written in a fast-paced style. Lots of action and dialogue. Short sentences, concise. Moves quickly. It helps a lot if you try to ask it to be concise. The LLM gets pretty wordy, and we're kind of trying to find the right balance. Let's call it Escape from Earth. That's pretty cool. Short description. How about, what's a name? Brock. That's a bro-y name. Brock, a factory worker in New San Francisco, 2099, must escape a desolate Earth to get to the space station to survive. And it's going to require that we pre-generate a quest arc here. This is what I'm interested in going in and then testing out with you all in the editor. But this is what the AI suggests. Acquire a map to the spacecraft, find a power source, decode the ancient launch codes. I guess it wants us to be in some kind of historical fiction drama. So we're going to modify this. This is the adventure editor. Some things are pre-filled. Here's the title card that it just generated. That's pretty rad. Some things aren't. I really suggest going through and anything that kind of looks like stock. We haven't really plumbed in hard requirements for certain things. So I'm going to say sci-fi. I'm going to say action. I'll say space. And then I'm going to suggest a description. These suggestions will flip them so that they're streaming eventually. Some of the longer ones take, a hot 10 seconds, 20 seconds with GPT-4. The storytelling is a lot better if we use the better model, so we've been sticking with that so far. So I'll kind of just leave this as it is. I will delete these, though, and let's just save all this stuff. And this is the thing I really want to go explore. So down here, we have some things: adventure background, adventure goal, and then importantly these quests. And I really want to experiment with making these super specific, and then we'll play it and kind of see how that affects things. So first, let's just change the background. This background, you can think of this as private information that you want to tell the LLM about your story. So this fast-paced story requires the player, the main character, to make it through several obstacles to get to the space station. The writing should be concise, short, but punchy. World. The world is a bleak, post-apocalyptic landscape. Is that spelled right? Post-apocalyptic landscape set in San Francisco, New San Francisco, 2099. The world has agriculture has been decimated. The world has been rendered into serfs living on a desert-like planet, producing manufactured goods for the space station above where the richest live. our hero, what was his name? It was like Brock or something, right? Brock is a factory worker. Daily, he is pushed around by robots who are the middle management of his factory. He is injured and needs to get to the space station in order to receive medical treatment, but he isn't allowed. Save it. Adventure goal, get to the space station. I don't need to save this aggressively. It's a habit. Okay, so let's delete these. And I really want to try like pre-prescribing a quest. This is the thing that folks have really been asking us to focus on. So let's see. If we're in New San Francisco, I guess the first goal could be escape New San Francisco. How about escape the city? Description. Okay, so this is a private field that the LLM is going to get. So in this quest, the player, main character, must escape the city in order to get to the spaceport. Spaceport in New San Jose. But this will be challenging. This will be challenging. The character's factory job is patrolled by robots, and the character doesn't have a ride. Other information, I would say the character starts at the factory and attempts to make it to San Jose. Okay, the problems, let's prescribe some problems to encounter. So the first problem will be sneak out of the factory. Description. The player must find an opportunity to escape the factory and then the second problem will be I don't know. How about hike to New San Jose spaceport? The player must convince a suspicious old man in a pickup truck to give them a ride to New San Jose spaceport. Okay, so let's save those changes. Now, it should be obvious if you're watching this that, this takes some time if you're not going to just let the AI generate everything for you. I think that's probably natural. We do have suggest buttons for a lot of these. I'm just going to add one more quest and then I'll try to play it. So let's do sneak onto the space shuttle. Location, New San Jose spaceport. Description, the player must sneak past the employees of New San Jose spaceport to get onto the shuttle. Other information, this quest should be primarily about social engineering. Employees will approach the main character, and the main character must come up with a reason why they are supposed to be there. Okay, and then let's just have it be convince the security guard. The security guard at the gate says the main character Says you're not. Says. I never know what pronoun to use. As a total aside, I feel like one of the things about LLM programming that I still don't quite understand is which pronouns refer to the LLM, which pronouns refer to the player, and which pronouns refer to other things. And I feel like there's a whole host of tiny, subtle bugs, perhaps, in at least my own attempts to eke out what I want from LLMs that are related to being uncertain about what you means, what they mean, what I mean. So the security guard at the gate says, nobody is allowed in. You must, the player, the character, must explain why it's okay and get past. All right, I'm just going to leave it at that. This at least gives a feel for us to test things out. So here are some buttons up here. This is what they do. If you publish it, that's kind of like locking in your changes to the next production version. Now, this isn't public yet because we haven't clicked the list in public directory, but having published it allows me to just test the adventure. I just misspoke. The test actually is of the development version. So here it is, Escape from Earth. We didn't create a player. We could have in that game editor have created a pre-made player. I'm gonna just create the one, Brock. Actually, you know what? Let's go back and do that. That's worth showing you how to do. So I'm gonna add, whoa. Okay, well let's fix that then. For now, we'll do this. So Brock's appearance is a factory worker wearing dusty clothes. That background. Brock is from New San Francisco, born and raised. His whole life he's had to fight to survive, but now he's sick, needs to get out of Cisco in order to be healed. Cool. All right. So we will enter the quest. Right now it's generating out everything. Okay. So here's what I'm looking for is someone who's, showing you how to do this, but also kind of just checking to make sure everything's working as it should. Brock, we got our character right here. We got his background, his description. We generated this photograph of him. Here's the camp. This is sort of like the table of contents of our story. We have the 2 quests that we created. The first one is in New San Francisco, and the goal is escape the city. So let's start. And what I'm really curious about is to kind of see how the AI is going to take this guidance that we gave it and turn it into the play. Brock's shift had just ended at the grimy factory. We can actually play the audio for this.
Brock's shift had just ended at the grimy factory. Smoke belched from stacks above, robots gliding through aisles, their electric eyes unblinking. Brock's heart hammered against his ribs, a plan forming. Escape. The city was a steel trap, sensors and drones at every turn. But Brock needed out. New San Francisco's dusty streets were a maze of danger and oppression, and beyond them, New San Jose Spaceport beckoned, the gateway to his salvation. Tonight, he'd make a run for it. No turning back.
That's pretty good. So I'm not going to play through all the audio here. I'll kind of skim it and I'll try to say out the things. What I'm really looking for here is if the problems that we encounter are what we asked. So he eyed the exit. 2 bots flanked it, sensor sweeping. His leg throbbed, a gentle reminder, a grim reminder. He needed a distraction. Perfect. Sparks flew. Could work. He scanned the room. Workers headed down, programmed for silence. Brock's gaze flickered to a stack of metal rods. A plan sparked. Now or never, he muttered. He gripped a rod, pulse pounding. One quick throw, the bots would turn. He'd bolt. The spaceport was watching. It was up to him now. Oh, there he is. What does Brock do next? He grabs the rod and he throws it. Flies across the room and makes a huge clatter. Okay, so we have some updated logic, by the way. Folks, at first, folks were like, "Hey, oh no!" Ah! At first, folks, that's a bummer. Wanted dice rolls because everything would work before, and we added them. And then folks said, "Hey, there's too many dice rolls." So what we do now is we calculate based on whether or not what you're doing is meaningful to the plot, and then we attempt to only introduce a dice roll if the thing that you want to do is meaningful to the plot. So let us know how that's working out for you. Brock's arm swings, workers scatter, Brock bolts. He dodges a bolt. Huh, that's interesting. So he made it out anyway. Okay, I'm not going to complain. What does Brock do next? He goes outside, runs outside to the street, looking for a way. All right, so it looks like we're going to run outside successfully. Brock hits the street running, lungs burning. He dodges, a battered hover bike with its keys carefully left, kickstarts the engine. So that's interesting. So now we're off the planned quest arc. So the way that these work is that we're providing... Oh no, we're back on. Interesting. Okay. So sorry, I'm experiencing this live and trying to play and commentate for you. So the way that these quest arcs work is we're not giving you 100% control. We're giving you, call it like 75-25 control, and then the AI helps fill the gaps. I mean, that kind of has to be the case because the AI is what's telling the story here for you. So when you say he needs to get, I think we said he needs to hitchhike with an old man who's suspicious of him. It's not the case that you will exactly encounter that immediately, but rather the case that it's going to influence how the story starts to unfold. So right here, it is happening. So hoverbike sputters, dies. Brock curses, adrenaline surging. He ditches the bike. A pickup truck rumbles near, battered old. Brock waves frantically. The truck slows. An old man peers out, suspicion etched on his weathered face. Need a ride to the spaceport? Brock shouts desperately. The man's eyes narrow, calculating. Brock's mind races. Convince him, but how? Trust its currency here. What will Brock say? The spaceport is so close. My man, if you just mile down the highway, life, I promise I'm safe. Brock holds up his arms to show that he has no weapons. Come on, 20. No, man, I am having bad luck. Well, old man eyes, grunts, sizing up the risk. All right, get in. You know what's funny? I feel like we made it. Some of our tweaks to be a little less harsh seem to have made failure harder. Or maybe it's gonna fail later. Brock's gaze fixes. The spaceport is so close. I bet you it's gonna fail now. He waits, keeps silent, hoping that they'll arrive in one piece. The truck speeds on. No pursuit. Doesn't push his luck. Not there yet. Can he really pull this off? The truck slides to a halt. Into the line, the old man grunts. Alarms blare. Security drones. Gotta move. Heart pounds. Get ahead. Rock scans. Enough to slip through. He's made it out of the factory, out of the city. The real quest, the space station, awaits. So we got a makeshift security bypass kit. That's gonna come in handy. Let's see what picture that gives us. Wire stripper is a compact voltage tester. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we've completed our quest. It looks like the dice rolls should have stopped us. So we'll tweak that. We need to make sure that failure is possible. Ironically, we've been doing a lot of work to make sure it's easier to fail, because that's one of the things that makes the stakes feel better. And then here's New San Jose Spaceport. So I'll stop it here. I know this is a very long video, and you're basically just watching me hack around on it. We are really, really loving the things folks show us that they built with this. And we've got a ton of adventures that people have published. There's even more that folks haven't clicked the publish button on. Let us know what you want to see here. Some things that we are working on right now are better stakes, making it so that it's more possible to fail, also making it so that the items you have and the choices you make more meaningfully impact the future quests, and so that there's references back that constrain you by your future or your past choices. We're also looking into how to make some of this more visual, and looking into how to make the structure of the story that you play something that's a little bit more programmable by you, so that if you want it to be more of a dialogue, or if you want it to be more something where you're answering a specific kind of question, that's something that you can inject into there.